Also, Scott, if you get to see this or see the article, let's get an interview going, man, and let's get the whole thing out there. Hey everyone, Nikki here, and welcome to the Riff Yard. I am very excited about this. I've managed to interview one of my heroes, one of my idols, Mr. Scott Stevens of the Exies, and his time away from the Exies and coming back to the Exies, as well as his work as a producer and a songwriter for some of the biggest bands on the planet. Stay tuned. Guys, Nikki here, and I'm very, very, very privileged and very excited to have the one and only motherfucking Scott Stevens of the Exies here. Scott, how are you, man?
I'm well. Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me on the Riff Yard.
Dude, thank you so much.
I
Thanks for
love
taking
that
the time
name.
out, man. It's great, right?
It's great.
There's got to
I
be
can't
like
believe it
songwriting
hasn't been
hooks everywhere.
taken. I can't believe it hasn't been taken. When I saw that, I was like, "That's perfect."
Yeah,
Oh,
it
thank
was
you
it was
so
funny.
much, man.
Oh,
Hmm?
dude, honestly, thanks for taking the time out, man. And obviously, you're in the city of angels, and I'm in the smoggy smoke up in London. So the time difference is fun. So it's good.
Time difference is fun. It's morning for me, but the sun is out, but it's not warm. Don't be deceived. It's actually, well, it is warm to some. I mean, it's like 63.
Right,
But
right.
if you're in Cali, it's weird. The 60s, the 50s, even the 40s, it's kind of got a bone chilling thing going on with it, and I really don't understand it. Maybe it's there's because it's a desert thing. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah,
what it is. That's must be it. So
yeah, man. Well, it's always it's just wet
hence
and cold in the UK all the time,
no.
and
I
then what
love the
happens?
UK.
Yeah,
I
it,
do love it, man. I've been there a few times. Never got to play there. It was a dream that never happened, but I love
oh,
it. I love
dude,
to go there.
it's so funny, man. On the subject of that, actually, there was a time when I was trying to work out how can I get over and see an Exy show in LA,
Right.
and it was just one of those things. I think it was around the time you decided to like call it a day,
Yeah.
and it was like literally one of those things like, um, there's a couple of shows that have gone quiet here. Let me just double check that there's nothing going on, and I'm like, no shows there anymore. It's literally one of those days where obviously because we didn't have like as fast flowing news like it is now. Like someone sneezes somewhere in the world, and then like bang, it's up on social media. And someone's like, blah, 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 like Ozzy
Yeah,
Osbourne the other
yeah.
day just like muttered out that he was, yeah, I'm not going to be doing these shows, which everyone knew that was going to be the case anyway.
Right,
And
sure,
within 10
sure.
minutes, everything was out there and the whole planet knew. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah,
It took
back then it was
time back then. It took time back then.
yeah, it did. Yeah, yeah, and especially then there was a massive gap in British to US media. Like something could happen in the US in literally a week or two, even a month.
Yeah.
Then it would come. Then you'd see it in a magazine or it would come out in a webzine or something like that. Nowadays, it's literally like a minute to 10 seconds
Yeah,
of something happening.
I
So
know.
I remember
It's
being there with like
crazy.
my credit card and like ready to get flights and stuff, and then I was like,
Well, it's kind of desensitized us in a little bit of a way. I mean, yeah, it's so beneficial now to find out anything that's going on, but at the same time, every event has become devalued now because it's,
yeah,
before then it took time for things, as you said,
mm,
and that gave you less to even think about during your day. You think about it now, all the information you're inundated with. You have to fit that into your life now. It's allocation time for this and that, and some of it just happens, and you don't like. I'll be working here, and ding, 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 my texts are going off. I mean, I just forgot to turn it off or whatever, but it's always around us now. The
yeah,
technology has arrived where it's instant.
yeah. It's funny that, isn't it? And um, with that, like even things like trying to write or being inspired to, as we were saying just a minute ago, like with inspired to write or not to write, there seems to be, I don't know if you ever get this, but with me, I always feel like because of that, the way media is just like pumping out, and Spotify's kind of killed albums. It's just like it's like 3 minute bangers and that's it. That's all they want. And if you're not doing something, you feel I should be doing something. I'm not contributing to my career, or god damn it, I need to post something fucking stupid on Instagram or whatever, just so I can appease the algorithm and the big tech somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Just so I
Sure,
can
of
feel,
course.
please, when I release a song, big tech, honor me and send it to people somewhere or some shit. It's
Yeah, of course.
it's a weird thing.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. You have more. You have a lot more experience in this than I do. As it's been so long since the Exies have released anything that I feel like I'm starting over with this
Right.
song. It's just on what I have to catch up on and how, just what you just said. Like I have to post to keep people engaged, and it's not a bad thing. It is a thing that I haven't been dealing with any of that for so long that to be an artist in 2023, uh, it's like Dr. Evil falling asleep in space and coming back, and like the world has changed since I was you know put in my cryogenic thing and shot out into space. No, I mean it literally is it just is different. It's a different world, yeah. I find myself asking, I think I'm annoying my management company a little bit just because I'm so curious about, so how did I get on this playlist, and did we get on another one? How do you do that? And
Yeah.
like these are all just I'm an infant once again, because I've just been on the other side of it all, writing and producing with others that are doing that
Mm.
day in and day out. So it's been fun though. I can't say that I have regretted any of it. I feel like I kind of traveled back in time the last week, and getting to see so many people. I mean, you were one of the first to kind of, when I did my first post, you put those wide eyes, emoji thing,
Yeah.
and you were paying attention, and it was like a handful, and I did not know how that was going to roll. I had no idea, and that is the
Yeah, you
truth.
broke the internet, man.
Did I?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was great. It was
It
great,
was
dude.
great. I had no idea, man. And it was Emily Schneider's idea to cut up the picture into these pieces, and she works for my management company at Indigo, and I thought that was brilliant. And but I ended up starting too late. Hence, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like I was supposed to start 10 or 12 days out, and I think I started like what, 7 days before. So I had to start, posting like 2 pictures a day, then 3 to make the puzzle fit. Playing catch up, not knowing. Wait, I don't have enough days. I got started 4 days late. That's just because I'm so innocent to all of this. But I got to be honest, like, having you and the people that have been there with us for a very long time. I mean, it was emotional, man. And
Yeah, yeah,
you sent me something that made me tear up, and it just, you forget what, if you don't remember, if you're not in the practice of like remembering what is and celebrating what is, you just kind of forget it until,
mm,
I think I put until you remember it. All of a sudden, it's just like it all comes flooding back, and so many good times, so many good years with the band, and the music we made and how it was made, and just the life events that happened along the way.
yeah,
Wouldn't trade it for anything, man. It was a joyous excursion that
yeah.
was something that I'll take with me my whole life. You know.
Absolutely, man. And thanks, man. Well, thank you. It was you know, when I first discovered you and your work, it was at a very crucial time in my life.
Oh,
Where
cool.
things weren't easy for me personally. You know, not to go down that road or anything, but
Hey, we
like
can go down that road if you want to.
like thanks, man. And yeah, and what you were saying resonated with me and helped me through those times. So thank you for that.
No,
I'll always cherish those times because of those records. And it's funny how you know as a writer myself and stuff, it kind of it timestamps your life. You
It
know,
does.
you can forget about things very easily, especially, you know, as we're saying, like, world is so fast paced,
Yeah.
you know. And then, you know, I listen to a lot of music in the car when I'm doing, like, you know, the school run and things like that, or if I'm going out walking the dog and all that other stuff, you know. And I'm not always conscious of what I'm playing. It'll just, like, I just put it on, and then Spotify does its thing and it just keeps playing shit that I love.
Right.
And, you know, every so often, you know, I'd always have an Exies track come in there, and it was like, you know, like a thing from, like, Bill and Ted, where it just go, you know, and you go
Sure.
like, shit, fuck, I remember, you know, being that age and taking that in, and like, fuck, man, what a ride, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to have that power, you know, with stuff. You know, your brain is indented with this, you know, these memories, these feelings, tastes, all these things that are somehow stored. You know, they're somehow stored in there, and it
Yep.
just takes like a chord or something, and you just go, oh fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know,
It's
so
yeah,
it's,
one little thing triggers it all, right? And the dam just bursts, and
yeah, dude.
that's it. It just, I mean, I am feeling things that I haven't felt. God, I mean, since those first few records, like,
Mm.
and it's nostalgia is a very powerful, powerful uh, uh, drug.
Yeah.
I guess, I mean, it really, it is nothing but look, there are things you can remember that you might be triggering, like that you don't want to remember
Mm.
hard times or tragedies in life. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, like what you said, the things that you enjoy, the things that help define your teenage years, your early 20s, your maybe even your early 30s, and these, hopefully these are joyous moments to where you do look on them fondly, and that is what I feel has kind of happened with the release of Spirits High, is that it's just a nostalgia magnet, and
Yeah.
I think I kind of intended it to be that way, but in my brain, as this was never supposed to come out, this was
Right.
a diary song. It was private. It was personal. Why would I think that I would release anything when I hadn't done it for almost 20 years? It was never
Cool.
supposed to be that way. And then one thing leads to another, and something kind of resurfaces, and I can't even remember the steps of how I really got here. But I know that I had made up a crucial moment to finish it, um, to try to get it ready for the 20th anniversary, because I felt that that was worthy of, if I have something that I feel is strong enough, and that everybody can, even if it isn't strong enough, maybe they'll forgive me for that because I haven't really done this for so long, that I'm giving it my best effort. It might be like, good effort. It felt nostalgic or whatever, but it's turned into more than that, and that is something that has been completely surprising, and I just wasn't prepared for it, and you know, we'll see what happens from here.
Dude, well, do you know what, man? It's also, like, as a fan, and, you know, and also someone who understands what it's like, you know, really, like, chewing off the industry, and, like, you know, you're not just, you know, obviously I'm not on the level that you're at, of course, but, you know, in I understand the feelings and the graft and the hard work you have to put in, regardless of what's happening around you, to be
Yeah.
able to just keep the cogs turning and keep it working, you know, to see it come out. And it was just like this, it was like all these, I don't know, it felt like all these Exy fans were like waiting behind the curtain,
Right, right,
and
right.
then they were like, he's done it, fuck, you know, like, and there's just like this flood of stuff. And I saw it across, you know, social media, because obviously, writing about it, you know, social media was showing me more and more comments, and people just independently posting, and, oh, if you posted this, you know, you might like that. And it was like my whole of my Instagram was just flooded with the cover of Spirits High, you know. And I was just
Wow.
like, I was like, fucking right on, man. I was like, if anyone deserves the fucking success and the triumph, you know, it's definitely you, dude. You know,
Oh
and
man.
I hope you know that, and I hope you feel it. You know.
I do. Thank you so much for saying that. Man, I'm very humbled by it. And I just wanted, ultimately, I think that that song for me was it was therapy for me, but it was also, I just wanted to put it out there to say, I feel like you do. Um, or at least I think I feel like you do out there in the world, and what we're all going through, and that, yeah, I mean, that was it. It wasn't an easy one too. I quit on it twice,
Right. Oh, right. Okay.
and I went line by line, and it would just sit for months. This is 2+ years. This thing has been kicking around. So, but when that first progression came to me, it just sounded so like us '05 that I was just curious, to follow it because it felt like ugly, and I was like, well, there's the the sister song or the brother song or whatever it is, same feel, same strumming pattern, different chords, very much my natural rhythm of where I sit and where I'm comfortable. And I think maybe that, I don't know. I think that the thing that is resonating, it seems to be, is the truth of the song. And I think that's because I didn't write it. I didn't have any committee. I didn't write it by committee. It was all just for me to, there was no label and there was really no band, and it was just, we kept in touch and things, but it didn't have any expectations. And maybe that's why I think it's hitting a nerve, you know, like
Yeah.
a good one, an
Yeah.
optimistic one, right? A
Yeah.
sullen kind of optimism,
Yeah.
you
Totally, dude. Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I mean, a lot of people are saying that they feel these words, that they feel like this right now. So then it
Oh,
was supposed
fuck
to
yeah.
happen now, and no sooner. That's what I'm taking away from it.
Yeah. As I said in the video, it was not only did you have this overwhelming sense of excitement, but there's also like, oh man, like I said, I'm really happy that you've found peace to write and put something out, which is fucking massive, you know. And then to kind of go like, holy shit, like I'm saying, the whole planet, right? It seems to be in this pressure cooker, and paraphrasing what you were saying in the podcast you did on the Hook show the other day,
Yeah,
people are divided politically, socially, they're even divided in their own families, where, you've got this real weird sense of like hierarchies and rich and poor and stuff where it doesn't seem to have been so visceral as it has been in decades prior.
right.
And to kind of sum all of that, just like, fuck, but also not without it going like,
Yeah, yeah,
you
sure,
know,
sure. Yeah,
it's almost like, you've almost got like this very, um, I think I've said it to you a few times, man, about this delivery about it. And it's very important, because people, it doesn't happen very much now. There's a lot of things where people don't, and I'm not saying that this is a bad thing, where there's a lot of people that don't leave much to the imagination, where
mhm,
like if it's something angry, it's like, like, like,
yeah.
stuff. And I like that shit. Trust me, I
I
love
do
it.
too. I
I
do
love
too.
listening to fucking brutal metal, punk rock, and country, every fucking thing in between, man.
Sure.
But I think when you've got a song like this, and it's like putting the cards on the table and just going, and everyone's going, oh fuck, you know,
Four
without,
aces.
yeah, it's powerful as fuck, dude.
Well, thank
And
you.
if it, I'm glad it took you 2.5 years to conjure that up, because fucking hell, it was worth it, man.
I know. Thank you, man. I mean, it's funny. We just do what we do, right? You right. You do what you do. I'm doing what I do. I didn't overly. Uh, I, I have to make it feel this certain way. I know the lyrics were torturous for me to get them to be simple enough
Mm,
and to have it be my heart.
hmm.
Um, to also know I have nothing to prove to anybody. This is strictly for me to just be able to work on something like I did before I even started the band all those years ago. Just sometimes, you're a kid in school and you're drawing or you're doing crafts or you're playing with your Legos or whatever it is, and you've got these worlds you're imagining in your brain. That was me when I was 10, as like
Yeah.
always fantasy, playing with little action figures or creating dialogue and those fantasy things because we didn't have the technology that we do now. A lot of it was imagination, and I found myself kind of going back to that place. For whatever reason, it was natural. It wasn't easy, but it felt cathartic. And it felt most of all, it felt like us for some reason back then, and that's when that whole thing of like something new mixed with something old, celebrating the past and everything that we had done, but talking about my fight for optimism right now. Um, because as like a lot of us, there are a lot of hard days, and you can be you can have dread and all these things sometimes and not really know why you do, and it's just there, and it doesn't have to be somebody shouting an obscenity at you or whatever it might be that fired from your job, or sometimes there's just something there that just makes you feel melancholy, and I think I was trying to get in touch with what that was. And I'm not sure that I ever really figured it out. But I think I got to the honest thing of like talking about how even though I love my tight group of friends that we see all the time,
Mm.
that I feel better when I'm like just by myself, and how do I tell them that I don't want to go, and I want to be rude and because I love them all dearly. And there's many times that I love hanging out with all of them, but there were some hard lines to write and make them simple to where they flowed and it felt like some kind of story was unfolding or some kind of emotion was unfolding
Mm.
that other people could maybe relate to. Um,
It's
and so
magic, dude.
there.
There's a fucking magic on that. And I think that's why everyone's, of course, there's people going like, holy shit, they're back, like and stuff. But it's not like, um, I was saying to my wife, I was like, it's not like when a band puts a greatest hits out and they put two shit songs on the end just to fucking bump it up, you know? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Sure. Of course.
Like, uh, there's, it's all real. There's no fuckery around in there, and like you said, nothing to prove, nothing to say. You're not trying to fucking go, put a flag in the rock and kind of go like, look, listen here or anything like that. You like I said, just simply put the cards on the table and just sit back and just let it happen. And you know, like I was saying in the article and stuff I've written, there was no hype. And coming back to that thing actually that you were saying where you were, you were late on posting the puzzle. I think that actually worked better in your favor.
Maybe it
Yeah,
did.
I think it fucking did, dude, because you had a short window and there
Yeah.
was no like even hint. It was like the day before you're like, yeah, here's a lyric, and everyone's like, there's a lyric,
Yeah.
and then the next day or even like 3 or 4 hours later, you were like, here's a here's a picture of something, and I just, you just saw the comments. People were like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
No, it was
what
amazing.
the
It was
fuck's
so much.
happening here? You
It
know?
was exciting for me too. I got to be honest, like because like I said, this is all new. Not that Instagram is new, but for me, I've had it for a few years. But at the same time, this kind of thing is new, and
Mm.
I kind of, I have a canyon outside where I live, and it seems like my life gets figured out in that canyon when I walk, and every day it was clear, like, okay, this is the lyric for today, and this is this part of the image that I want to put today. So it really felt like, uh even though I felt rushed, it didn't feel like I had any kind of anything really blocking me. Like it
Mm.
was all kind of flowing, and it was all doing the right thing, and I mean, there was a little bit of talk about trying to go earlier, and for those that have been following, uh the recent unfortunate tragedy that happened at the beginning of the year, I didn't want to go any sooner. I needed some time. I didn't even know if it was going to happen, to be honest with you, because of
Right.
all of that. And I just was like, my first gut reaction was to pull it and just say, I don't know when now. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But you know, a little time went by. I figured out, how to celebrate this, turned it into a positive. Um, one thing didn't have to do with the other, but they did collide. And you know, that road that we were on, led to here. So uh, I just kind of went with that.
Yeah.
But it has been painful.
Yeah, man.
But at the same time, there is this, and this is joy, and this is love, and this is all that there is right now with this. There's just nothing but love coming from this, and I don't think I've ever had that with a song, even when we were going, where it's just this is, like you said, like you just said. I mean, this is just it, and you take it or leave it, and there's no in between. This is the document. This is the road that led to this.
Mm.
You feel this or you don't, and that's all there is. I don't know what else. I don't know what's next for this song. I know that it's gotten on some playlists. I know I did the lyric video for it. It's kind of a day by day grind.
Yeah.
Um, and like you said, I just feel like it has to be organic. Um, there are people that are starting to come out of the woodwork for terrestrial radio that want to, they want to smash or trash, or they want to do a test drive or whatever. I mean, that's to be expected.
That's
And
great.
I appreciate all of that. So we'll see. I don't really have the answer for what's next.
Yeah, man. Well, my heart and condolences go out to you, and all friends and family involved, man, because it's I can't imagine the barrage of different emotions that you're faced with in such a short period of time, especially when you have, like you said, you kind of suspected things were happening, but then you've also got this song, and then there's this happening and that happening, and maybe the song unintentionally has still summed that up, like a prerequisite to what's happened.
Yeah, I
You
think
know.
so. I think you're right there. I think there's one thing that's going on with this thing. It's nothing seems to be an accident.
Mm,
Everything is where it's supposed to be. Not to try to put a point on the lyric, but that is kind of what is happening. And yeah, I'm not trying to figure it out too much yet, because there is a part of me that
enjoy the
has
moment.
gone there to the timing of things and why,
Mm,
and I don't have a clear gut feeling, and I'm a feeling kind of person. It's how I've done everything in my life, is through feel. And this one's going to take a little while to figure out, I
yeah.
think. And maybe I'm not supposed to. Maybe it's not supposed to. Maybe it just is. And but I do believe that they'll something will come to light, um, probably sooner than later. We'll see.
Yeah, man. Well,
Thanks.
yeah. Well, I sincerely hope it does. Yeah, and enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
Out of all, out of all the shit in the world and the ups and downs, I think there's always something to be said to just kind of, to just sit back and go like, this is fucking cool, man.
Yeah. No, you're right, and it's funny.
Within respect and within reason, of course, of
Of course, of course.
circumstance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was on the phone with Lilith Czar the other day, and we were talking about second chances in life, and
Mm.
I said, it's the younger me wouldn't appreciate the things that are even happening now. So I hear you loud and clear. Like as I've grown older now, and you learn to not let these moments
You still look 26, mate.
just kind of pass you by like a stranger in a crowd or something. Like you're actually looking at it and you're absorbing it more, and and it's good to for anybody out there that's creating something that makes you feel whole, you know you should celebrate it, feel good about what you've done, the work, the time that you put into it, because it is fleeting, and you'll look back on it one day, and so that moment of that newness, it's short. So I always try, for if I'm involved with a song, and if we get lucky enough and it goes number one, I really take that in, and think about the road that led it to there, and I honor it, and then I move, just
Yeah.
I mean, that's all we can do, right? Because we're constantly the ship is moving, man. It's going through the ice flow.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. What was, how did you get to the kind of, you know, putting the pen to paper process, as it were? So, you have a song, you know, you've, you've sweated through it, and then all of a sudden you go, yeah, I need to call some dudes and get some people to play on it. Where was that decision to kind of go, all right, this is maybe bigger than the sum of its parts at first thought, as it first appeared, so where was the point where you thought, yeah, I'm going to make some phone calls, let's get some dudes to play on it and go.
Well, to give you a complete exclusive bit of information for the Riff Yard, this song was entirely recorded by me. I did it all by myself, just because I didn't feel. Well, let me see. I got to back up on this. When this song was basically about three quarters, a little over, okay, not three quarters, but maybe a little over half something that was there. As I said, I was poking at this. I don't remember how I came up with the beginning lines. I just remember, like, it's much like the Beatles documentary. Like when I'm writing, I'm just kind of humming, and there's a natural, when you're a writer, there's a natural words that you kind of gravitate towards. Like, I want to, my intuition is saying that this phrase needs to end with the word down. You know what I'm talking about, or
Yeah,
or
totally.
it has this kind of a word or whatever it is, and you really don't know what you're saying yet. And so those words just kind of start to, as you do it more and more, like George is doing it in the documentary. Remember he's asking Paul, like, what's the lyric? And Paul just says, just keep singing it and you'll find it. Or John says it, or somebody does. And that's kind of how I write. And when I finally had enough of okay, I knew it was called Spirits High, and I had, I think, the opening line and a few other ones that were important. I had spoke to David a year ago this month. More than as the way things are going, it would probably was this week. So this time last year, and I said it's going to be the 20th anniversary of the Exies. So for Inertia, what do you think about maybe doing a new song for the fans and just to kind of, it'd be fun, And we talked about it for a little while, and his take on it was he didn't want to do some, because I said I want to do something that kind of honors the past, something that feels like a song from back then, and he wanted to do something that felt more forward thinking, new, whatever would, like when Duran Duran stopped writing for a little while, and then they did Ordinary World.
Yeah,
it was like a game changer, and that's where he wanted to go, and I thought that was beautiful. But I was also like, yeah, well, that's an unbelievable song, and yes, please, but how do you get there?
yeah.
That I don't know that I can just craft Ordinary World out of nothing, So
Right, you are. Yeah, just give me 5 minutes. Yeah.
oh yeah, no problem. I'll hit you up tomorrow. Done. So we talked about it for a little while, and I said I have this idea that is kind of half baked, and I think it'd be really good. And he just wasn't at that time in his life. He didn't want to do that. He didn't really want to rehash the past. And that was a dose of reality. That was, we have moved on from each other. Too much time has gone on now. I'm not even going to call Dennis, and I'm not even going to call Freddie, because Freddie's in Everclear. Dennis, he has this unbelievable job in the music business, and gets to work with Paul McCartney and freaking Lenny Kravitz, and Brian from the Beach Boys, and I mean Brian Wilson. Like, these are his clients. So
that's fucking.
I just, yeah, man, he's a rock star. So it just became apparent that it was like, I'm not going to waste anybody's time. So I'm just going to finish it myself. And it sat again. I think it sat for like 2.5 months, maybe. And I started getting busy. I don't even know what day it was. It's like any day you decide, you're like, today I'm going to start working out, or I'm going to go on a diet, or I'm going to call this person because I haven't spoken. It was like, I'm going to finish it. And I finished it last August.
Oh, right. Okay, cool. Yeah.
I finished it last August, and I turned it in to my publisher in September. And that was the first, hit on the pole, like fishhook, like my publisher heard it, went like, is this you singing this song? Because they didn't know that I don't think they knew that I was really in a band before or anything. And she said, this is a good song. It sounds like it could be on the radio. And I said, oh, cool. And I just downplayed the whole thing. I just wanted to get through it, please register it and blah, blah, blah. And then one thing led to another. And I think I got the Spotify rap numbers for the Exies, that was the final thing of like, fans are still listening. People like the music that we did in the past. And I think you said something about like it had tripled. And I still, right now, Nikki, I don't know what's happening. Like, the streams for Ugly this month alone are 500,000. These are not huge numbers compared to Shinedown and the big bands of the world. But for a band that never did anything,
years,
haven't done anything, and was before Spotify, we haven't done anything to nurture it. I mean, we're garnering, 2+ million streams a month, and 493,000 listeners this month. I just don't, I'm trying to wrap my head around what the fuck is happening. And so that was the final thing of like, I'm definitely going to put this thing out, and I hope people like it, and that was it. I didn't really know until that moment that I felt like, okay, people, I want to do it, but I really, this has to be us together. This is not just a me thing. This has to be the Exies fans, the time, the honoring of all of it.
Yeah.
And that's when, like, my wife said, you have to call the guys, you have to tell them that you're going to do this. And I sent out an email on January 4th. And that was sadly the day that we found out about David. And so once it was like, wow, like you said, the emotions and what is happening. And this is supposed to be something that is just pure and good. And, who knows, get us maybe back together and like do some songs or something like that. And it just took a stumble. But I see now, and I've talked to everybody that's been close to this whole scenario, and everybody has embraced the song and loves it and hears him in there, because I tried to do the best that I could with honoring what I felt like each guy would play on this recording. And that was the project for me. It was to be able to say, okay, I'm just going to try to, what did Dennis play on Ugly? What was the groove? The song is different, but I studied the parts and I changed and embellished on it. But I took everything from my past experience with those guys and my own thoughts. And that's how this song came to be. So they're all in there in a way.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why it's also kind of resonating. And I think too, my, luckily right now, my voice hasn't changed too much, and that's kind of helping to keep it feel nostalgic.
Dude, it hasn't aged a day.
Feel lucky that way. Well, it has aged.
No, dude. No, it hasn't, man. It's like I was saying before with it, it sounds, I mean, it's brand new, right? But it doesn't, I mean, fuck, I don't know how you've done it, but it is literally the perfect hybrid synergy of nostalgic, new, and like the production, the way it hits, but it's got like those those isms, those the things that you do where you go, Grohl will sit behind a kit 2 beats in and someone goes, that's fucking Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same thing with you. Like there's something in the way you attack a guitar.
Sure. Just like you do, like anybody does. Yeah,
but there's a lot of things, like I'm a guitar nerd, like I fucking love, like,
you're good. Like I'm just a good, like, rhythm, put chords together guy.
Dude, you can hear when people are good, dude. You can hear when people are good. You don't need to be fucking ripping all that shit. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with trying to do all that. And the moment I discovered about discovered about like writing songs, I was like, fuck all that off, write a song. Do you know what I mean? There's a Scott Stevens thing, isn't there? There's a thing that makes you. I don't know what that is, but there's a thing that you do. Well, it's kind of cool, right?
I guess that is just what it is. It's the only way I know how to. It's how I know. It's what I know how to do. Like, especially if I'm going to be working at it by myself, I can only go so far. Whereas if I'm collaborating with like Lizzie or Brent or Johnny from Nothing More or whatever, well, then there's two personalities going at it, right? So
totally.
The ingredients get changed. I can't. I'm just me in the way that I approach music. Sure, I can, try to think outside the box with different chords or a beat or maybe a different lyric or something, but it always ends up somehow just sounding like something that's the limit of what I can do. Whatever that is, it always hits that thing of, well, that's about as far as I can take it. You know?
Yeah, I know what you mean, man. I
Yeah.
remember there's this thing that I saw Nuno Bettencourt saying once, that he was playing with Van Halen, and he got to plug in to Eddie Van Halen's rig,
Hmm.
and he said if I turned it all on, it was like humming because it was so loud, and he hit a chord, and he went, sounds like me. He said he's never been so disappointed in all his life,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, but that's also the coolest thing at the same time.
Yeah. He wanted to be somebody else in that brief moment.
Right, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and it's funny how those things go, isn't it? Like I said, with the cuts that you've done with the other artists, to me anyway,
Yeah.
um if I didn't know what they were, I'm pretty sure I could score a good 85% and hit them right.
It's funny that you say that because I have one of my dearest friends. Her name is Danielle Harrison, and she lives in Ireland, and she constantly will, when a new record or something I've been a part of, she's like, "You wrote on this one," and I'm like, "How do you tell?" And she said, "I just know, there's a thing that you do with your melodies and the way you phrase things, and I just don't hear it. I just don't." Because I guess I'm the one doing it. I don't know, but she
Yeah.
always, I'll never forget the funniest one of all of them was there was a movie that came out a few years back called Spy with Melissa McCarthy
Oh, right, yeah, 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 I
and
know that.
Jude Law. Pretty funny, like, kind of a 007 spoof.
Yeah, yeah.
The closing credits was a song that I had written with this band of kids. They were called Bad Seed Rising. I mean, the drummer was 10. The guitar player was like 12. The oldest person in the band was Franny. She was the singer. She was 15.
Shit.
And I had done this as kind of a giving back project it was for Roadrunner.
Right,
And,
right, yeah, yeah.
I don't really know whatever really happened to the record, but we really had a great time while we were making it. I called up Tommy Lee and I said, "Tommy, I got this kid band. Can I rent out your studio?" And Tommy was so cool. I don't even remember what led me to Tommy, but I think I posted something and he commented on it. And so I was like, I'm calling Tommy. I want to go do this record at his house. And I thought that would be a great thrill for the kids to
Yeah,
be.
right, yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
so we were there for like two and a half weeks or something. And oh, I know
See,
why.
that's
Because
catering,
Chris
isn't it?
Baseford engineered it, and Chris Baseford worked at Tommy's studio for years,
Oh,
and
I
he was
see.
Scott Humphrey's engineer. And Chris and I had become friends, and I asked him to engineer this record, and I believe with the post response and his relationship with Tommy, I said, "Dude, we should do this with Tommy," and that's how it happened.
That's great.
And so we get through this record and it's done and it's whatever. And out of the blue, Danny calls me and she says, "There's a song at the end of this movie. I swear you wrote it." And I was like, what are you talking about? And she said, "There's this movie called Spy, and did you work with this Bad Seed Rising?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Yeah, your song is at the end of the thing. And it sounds like you." And I'm like, "How?" These are kids. How? You know, so she's got that radar for the style that I guess I have whenever I work with anybody. So
That's a beautiful
I'll
thing.
take it, man. It's what? It's my contribution to the song,
Yeah.
and I can't do it without the collaboration, for them. Like I can do it for myself,
Mm.
of course, writing for myself, but those things that go out there, like, that comes from teamwork. That's a collaboration that makes that happen. So
Yeah, man. That's beautiful shit, dude.
yeah,
That's great. You know,
pretty random stuff.
I'm well aware of your time factor because I know you're a busy, busy bee, dude.
Oh no, I'm good
But,
today, man. I'm going to Nashville tomorrow, so
oh,
today's a
rad.
good day for like just kind of hanging out and shooting the shit.
Oh, cool, man. Well, if there's a possibility, what what does Scott Stevens and the Exies do for 2023 moving forward then?
Well, you're the first one to answer the question. I knew it would come eventually. Um, so I had dinner the day after the release with Dennis. We had to talk about some of the things that had happened,
Mhm.
and Dennis is he doesn't mince his words. He's very matter of fact.
Mm.
Was always this way, which is why he kind of ran the business side of things for us. And he just said he loved it. He's like, the song is really good. It sounds like my parts. And I said, well, that's what I was hoping for. And and then he made the joke, we're putting the band back together. And we both laughed a little bit at that. And I think it's just kind of a touch and go right now. I'm not going to say no because I don't know what is going to happen. I know that it takes a certain amount of convergence for things to move. I'm sure you're well aware of this as well. Like,
Mm. Yeah.
it's more than just the song. The demand has to be there on different kinds of levels, and I think that it's such a baby. It's just starting. It's streaming pretty well. There's not really a plan of a campaign to get behind it yet. I don't know if there will be. I'm encouraged that there should be, because I think the numbers on Spotify tell a very accurate truth of what it would be to have a reunion with all the people that have spent time with this band.
Yeah.
Um, I personally would love to play overseas it because I never got to do that. I just think that I can't say that it's in like the fans' hands, because I don't want to. I'm not putting pressure on anybody, but I think it has to build a little bit more. I'm definitely starting to ask some hard questions now, as far as like, what does this mean? Where do we go from here? Um, these are the analytics. Unfortunately, you have to talk about these things. As I said,
Yeah.
convergence takes money to make things happen. So would I love to see people and play some of these songs, play this song live, and have that that thing? Of course, but I just don't know what the reality of that is at this particular moment. Um, this is also new right now, and I
Yeah.
think that's where it's. I can't tell you anything other because I don't really know. This has just kind of happened. It caught my management by surprise. It caught everybody by surprise because I didn't tell anybody about it for 2+ years. It was a
Yeah.
secret, so everybody's kind of like, not only did I kind of blindside everybody that's been with us for, I blindsided everybody.
Yeah.
The four horsemen didn't even know until till the day before.
Really?
I didn't
That's
tell them until
amazing.
the day before. So
That's
that
amazing.
shows you how tight I kept it, man. I don't know. Maybe I did that because I wasn't really sure how far.
Well,
I didn't know
that's an
I
even
didn't know if I was
better
going to go through
indicator.
with it, and then I did, huh?
Excuse me. It's an even better indicator of how good and how the reception is, because you know, I mean, all power to you as well. Like how you can keep something like that like under the hood without it like getting
Yeah,
out. I'm terrible at that. Like I'll be I'll be when I was releasing big stuff and what have you, I'd get the record back, and then the first thing I'd do is I go, I'd send a WAV, like a file out to a friend of mine and be like, dude, check this out, it's on the new record, like thing like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He'd be like, dude, you're fucking terrible, dude. It'll get out before it's even, out of
Yeah,
time. So the fact that you've managed to just keep it, and like the day before, like even like the horsemen and stuff don't
Yeah,
know
they
about
didn't
it,
know, dude.
and then it's out there, dude. That's amazing.
Well, it was hard. And before Christmas is when I finally told management, literally like 2 days before the break. And they're like, "What? You know, you got a song?" I go, "Yeah, it's done. Ted Jensen mastered. I mixed it with Chris Baseford. It's finished. And here's the artwork. It's all finished as well." And it was, my wife took that photograph.
It's killer, dude.
Um, it's a great one, man. She really nailed something there. It was cold, it was windy, but the light was good. And I had said something to her like the previous week because we were in Nashville at our place there, and I said, "Oh, it'd be cool to do a photo like because of these. We have these woods that are like really stark, and all the leaves had fallen off." And I go, "Yeah, I guess that kind of feels like the song a little bit somehow." And then it's just one of those things that you suggest, and then a week goes by, and you kind of forget about it. And then uh it was a nice day, and I was working on my rig, Pro Tools. I think I was working on a new thing for Nothing More. And I saw her come running, and she's like, "The light is perfect, we got to go now." And I was so entrenched in doing what I was doing, I was like, "No, I can't. I'm finishing this work right now, and no, we got to go now." So I put on my hoodie and my hat and just grabbed the acoustic guitar, and we went out, and she just started snapping. And I think we were outside for 20 minutes,
Oh,
maybe
sick,
25
sick.
minutes, and came in, and she just started going through it. And I think I made dinner, and that night I finally grabbed the phone and I finally looked at it, and that picture stuck out, that angle. And I was like, "That's great. Look at that. That's cool." And I sent it to his name is Steven Pereira, and he did the Four Horsemen t-shirts. We had t-shirts that
Right.
had a horse's skull on it, and each of us had our symbols, and
That's it.
they're cool, man. I don't know that we have any left, but we probably should get some more made because we give them to, like, artists when we work with them and stuff.
Yeah.
And I loved his artwork. I thought he was really talented, really good. And I sent him that photograph, and I said, I have a rough of the song that, he's like, "No, don't send me the song. No song." And I
Right.
gave him that thing, and he sent that back. That was the first image that came back, was that disintegration that looks like angel wings, and he had just colored it and treated it because there was sunshine and it was a cloud, and because of the shadowing from the original photo, you couldn't get that shadowing without the sun being at your back, so
Yeah, yeah, totally.
he took that out of there and just made it all on fire. And I just thought it was magic. It felt like the song. And
Mm.
that's there again, is like everything just kind of happened for this track. It just kind of fell into place, some for better, some for worse. But it just all something, there's a synergy, a kismet or something going on with this. And then I showed it to the management company. They loved it. Nobody had anything to say. I mean, it was like, here's a done song. I'm gonna put it out in January for this reason, because of the inertia record. And here we are.
That's fucking cool, dude. That's so.
Here we are.
Oh man, yeah. Well, dude, honestly, massive congratulations from it. Honestly, it's
Thank you, man.
you know, to when you get to see your rock and roll brothers and sisters kill it, you know. For me, I love that. I love seeing, people that I love and admire, and just go out there and kill it, because I think, especially as my time when I was on the front of the curtain on, like yourself and things, it's it's very toxic,
Mm-hmm.
where after a while you just go like, I haven't a clue who anyone is. I don't know if anyone actually likes this or hates it or whatever. There's just feels like bullshit mudslinging left, right, and center, all that, and you cannot tell if any of it's good at all. So when you see good people getting good shit, it's awesome. And yeah, just massive congratulations to you, man. It's
Thank you, brother.
so well deserved. And honestly, I fucking hope that it all works out for some sick ass reunion. And if you,
Something.
yeah, and you get a new record and you can hit the UK. If if I don't know what I could do to help there, but if there's anything I could do to help out in any way of doing that, give me a fucking holler and I'll do it, man.
I
You know,
appreciate that, man.
but
I,
yeah,
I,
I
th-
just
I think it's just like, man, if anybody, it's the same, it's the age old thing. I think it's just word of mouth and spreading this. And, we got to, it just has to get to a place where it all makes sense to do it.
yeah.
This is a different time we live in right now, and it's expensive to tour and it's expensive to do anything.
Yeah, yeah, big time. Yeah.
Promote radio, to do everything, all takes money and
Visas are
time.
nuts
And
at the moment as well.
huh?
Visas.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
it's
musicians it's
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
nuts.
exactly. Air travel's expensive. Having people work with you is expensive.
Mm.
Who's to say if there's maybe a way to do a show where it's remote it's blown out to the world from a place that's like a stage setup, or uh, I really don't know. I know people do that. They'll like do a concert from their house, or whatever. But
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I don't really know yet what it constitutes. We're just starting to have. I just had my very first meeting with my management company about this song in the Exies on Friday. So everybody's, there's going to be things that are coming. There's things that are going to be interesting. I want to dive into the recording of the song and start to reveal some of those things soloed, and kind of talk about that process a little bit, live. So we'll see.
People
But
want to hear it, man. People love that. That's the great thing about now. People, if you were to sit there and I don't know, do like a 1 hour video of you doing a breakdown of the session of how you recorded it and mixed it and all the different parts, pull them all out, kind of like what like Rick Beato or someone would do with it, fucking do it, man. Absolutely do that. It's very
yeah, I'm
possible.
trying to think of some things that would be fun and cool and interesting. And um like, as but I mean, uh, I have 5 records that I'm producing right now too. So, and that's my priority right now is that.
How do you juggle that?
Boy, I
Yeah.
don't know. It's tough. Some of them, some are ending. Basically, it's like I usually start like 2 at a time, and then because you can't just write a straight record. It'll be shit. You need time away. You can do it like a week writing, and then you got to have some time away, and then you come back to it. And in
Mm.
those moments where I take those 2 or 3 week breaks, I'm working on something else. I'm producing somebody else's record, and we're kind of, because we're writing and producing as we go, that
Yeah.
kind of a thing. And you're just, you're looking at your calendar and you're going, okay, in March I'm going to do 2 weeks with Hailstorm right here, and then I'm going to do this over here with Nothing More last week of this month, and then we're going to go over here, and Daughtry and I are going to spend 10 days together. And we're going to start to see if we can hatch the beginning of the record in Nashville, and it just kind of goes like that, and then
Yeah.
you deal with management and time lines and things like that. And like Dorothy and I we just wrote our first song with the Four Horsemen, and like I have all the rough takes of her. She was singing here the other day, and just kind of like putting that together. But she's still in the middle of a record cycle, so
Yeah.
we're just starting to see like what constitutes maybe a new the next look of the record, getting a head start on that. Daughtry starts this week as well, and so we'll see where we get with that. Finishing up my New Year's Day record, should be done with that in a few weeks, and then just finish the Stap record,
Oh,
Like
nice.
we're really close to the staff. I did that one with Marty Fredrickson.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah, he and I produce a lot of stuff together. We're doing Daughtry together, and then we
The
do
magic
things
team.
separately. Yeah, he and I are we are magic together, but we also it depends on the project. Like if he's producing Buck Cherry, it's him. I'm not really in there. I might help write a song if he asks me to.
Yeah.
Like when I did Hailstorm, he that was Nick Raskulinecz and me on that one.
Right.
Like the Dorothy record would probably be me, but Marty will help on like writing and maybe some drum production and things like that. I don't know. We might tag team that one or not. I don't know for sure. Right now it feels like I'm just going to do it, but um, yeah, it just depends on the project, And we help each other out. The Four Horsemen, it's like we're all working with each other, trying to write songs for a record, and before you know it, you can have six that are pretty good. You got four guys working on
Yeah.
it all the time,
Mm.
The four of us do a week with an artist in Nashville, there's going to be 5 songs there. A
Right.
lot of wood shedding that needs to be done, but the ideas will all be there.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes I'm like, I can't, I'm producing this artist right now. I don't even have time to write. And those guys, can I get you with this artist I'm producing? And they'll do 2 or 3 days and give me the songs, and then I'll write on those ideas.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
share it. We share the load.
Yeah. That's cool.
Um, which is why we've been pretty like sought after, which is very lucky. But we've had a lot of success, a lot of cuts over the last 3 years. A lot of, I think 4 number ones or so, and
Oh, that's great,
it's
dude.
just we've all been around and we click together.
Yeah.
So
It's like a
I
mini
don't think I could
band.
do it without their help.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Great, dude. Well, like I said, man, yeah, I wish you all the best success with it, dude. And it's
Thank you,
great,
man.
going strength to strength. It's awesome. It's fucking great and well deserved, man.
Well, I appreciate that so much
It's
coming
killer,
from you.
dude.
You've been with us for a very long time, man, and
Oh, dude.
let's stay in touch with this, and I'll keep you updated as I know.
Absolutely, man. And if it ever came to it, let me know, and I can try and jump a flight out there and go and see you guys live.
We'll see if we're gonna play a show. I don't know yet. We haven't talked about that, but you know, uh, I wouldn't think it's unthinkable that more music will happen. So I'll leave it at that.
Nice, man. That's great.
Yeah,
Cool.
brother.
Well, Scott, thank you so much for your time, mate. And I know, like that you said, you're going off to Nashville tomorrow, and no rest for the wicked. So thank you so much for your time, dude. And I really, really appreciate it. And
I really appreciate it too, man.
thanks,
This
man.
is the second interview I've ever done. The one I did last week was the first, but this is the first one with a Zoom camera.
Yeah, yeah.
I was a virgin to this until now. So
That's great, man.
thank
Well,
you.
what an honor, man. So thanks very much, dude. And I wish you all the best, dude.
Thank you. I wish you the best as well, brother.
Cheers, man.
I hope everybody enjoys this and give it a watch and it won't be the last.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Nice.